The joke is that SUPERHOT is an MLG video you play. Because SUPERHOT is an FPS game where time moves only when you move. Actually, that's a bit of an exaggerated advertisement, because time really moves at a fraction of a millisecond when you're not moving, but the idea still stands. Every input you make costs precious time. Time is precious because everyone dies in one hit. Gameplay is strategic and thoughtful because you have ample time to plan your next move, but gameplay is also twitchy and fast because your next move will have to be executed in a twitchy and fast way. It's a smooth blend of turn-based and real-time thinking with an art style that looks like Mirror's Edge's edgy, artsy little cousin. It's black, white, and red all over with a main menu that's an ASCII art operating system. Remember Pony Island? Now you don't have to, because SUPERHOT is an actual video game, and you can tell because you shoot people in the face. SUPERHOT's glittery tribute to video game violence has you slowly combing through a play-by-play scene of action choreography that would have been a single lightning flash in Hotline Miami. This is a game about popping off a headshot, flicking around for another, throwing your gun at a bad guy, catching their gun before it lands, blocking incoming bullets with your own bullets, tossing away the gun, possessing another bad guy, catching your own gun that you toss to yourself, and then popping up the rest of them before anyone even hits the ground. It feels good, it looks incredible, it's fresh, it's new, and it's probably the first game of the year that I've genuinely enjoyed playing so far. It's a super solid gameplay gimmick that always keeps the player engaged and guessing, one that has them inputting and outputting audacious action every millisecond. It's an amazing power trip of amazing moments you create yourself, and the levels are built to accommodate that gameplay. It's Hotline Miami from the first person. The advantage in that game of being able to see over walls is offset by the advantage in this game of having super duper slow-mo. But what's built around those levels is a keyboard-friendly ASCII art DAW-style operating system that tells a story through chat windows and glitchy hacking encounters, and that is just like Pony Island, isn't it? Also, coincidentally like Pony Island, is a story that discards the need to justify why you're taking part in the action of the game in the first place. This is a story about SUPERHOT the video game, rather than being a story of SUPERHOT in which a slow-motion action hero shoots everyone up for some rhyme or reason. Which is an angle I can respect. Trimming the superficial fat of video game storytelling is a trend I can get behind, but this one's still missing some kind of X-factor to it that makes its approach feel like kind of a cop-out. The meta-game meta-story is straightaway too self-aware to slowly creep into you the same way Metal Gear or Hotline Miami itself did. Either that, or maybe the video game of SUPERHOT is rich and stylized enough to actually carry a cool story of its own, if only it had the chance to. Either way, for your price of admission, the story is there for the sake of the increasingly standardized 2-hour campaign. But don't let that number of 2 hours fool you. I've played it for about 9 hours and plan to give it more. This is a short campaign for the same reason that Time Splitters had short campaigns. If you like this gameplay, then you'll probably spend more time and have more fun in all these endless arcade modes and challenge speedruns afterwards. I played through the campaign levels 3 times in one 24-hour period because of how varied and fun each run was. The second time was with a katana-only ninja challenge turned on, and the third time with a fast-speed hard mode enabled. And the endless arcade modes, which simply task you with beating your high-score kill counts, is almost endlessly enjoyable. So where are the problems? Well, first off is that even with the game's slow-motion base speed, it still feels like whatever counts as 1 times time, whatever's normal speed, whatever it is when you're running around at full speed, could still use a shot of adrenaline. A general speed-up of the gameplay overall would help it feel snappier, make the animations sharper, and the post-action replays appear more impressive. But what's a more pressing problem is the lack of content, which I was hinting at when talking about the campaign. As great as the gameplay is here, and it is great, there's simply not enough levels to really explore the potential of its hook. The campaign's too short, and although Endless Mode is excellent, it just doesn't have as many maps as it should. And what's funny is that SUPERHOT's idea is so bright and fresh that quantity could have totally trumped quality. This is a case where the map design could have gotten absolutely stupid and no one would have cared. These maps are pure layout. There's not much texturing or decorating to be done. They should be quick to push out, so why are there only 8 of them in the Endless Mode? This is a rare case where it's not the game's length that feels short, it's the feature list. I wish that the team showed the same kind of careless disregard for convention that the novelty levels of Doom 2 showed. Or Door Kickers, which was another indie game with a cool idea that released on a budget with oodles of content because a lot of its levels took the hit of keeping themselves from being polished to a mere sheen. The thing with an idea as fresh as this one is that finding out what does and doesn't work for it is sometimes just as fun for the player as it is for the developer, so I just really hope they release a map editor. But it's not just maps that SUPERHOT is lacking, it's just gameplay entities in general. There aren't enough weapons, modifiers, enemy types, or player moves to really make the most of its concept. For starters, a crouch button would have been nice to duck under bullets in slow motion. That would feel cool. More weapons would have as well. You've got a basic pistol, a shotgun, and a burst rifle, but when you're playing with rates of fire and recoil patterns at 1/100th of a second, then the absolutely microscopic variations between modern military FPS weapons would have made a world of difference here. Imagine how weird an LMG or grenades would have worked in this game. And for that matter, very few levels that are here feel like the tactical puzzles that SUPERHOT could turn a slow-motion FPS into. Did you know? Of course, you can shoot enemy bullets with your own bullets, but you can also block them with thrown melee weapons. You can bait enemies into friendly firing at each other, and you can also bunny hop and strafe jump to buy seconds when faced with a real-time limit. These are all useful tricks, but you'll rarely make use of them outside of beating your own high scores in the arcade modes. But that doesn't mean I don't love it. I criticize because I love, and SUPERHOT is my new favorite thing right now. And though there could be a huge degree of strategy here that isn't totally implemented, it still has enough of a skill ceiling to make your later game tricks look beautiful after you learn the ropes. I can easily imagine a lively speedrunning or self-challenging community developing around this game. And imagining a SUPERHOT sequel with an upscaled suite of mechanics that lets you go full Matrix with it, running on walls and flipping through the air through hours of level that actually require you to do it all, is tempting, but what we have for now still gets the job done. I guess you can't reasonably expect a new team to knock a great new idea out of the park during its first time out, so what we have instead is a great groundwork for them to build upon. And I'm as happy to get this game as I am to think about what this team will be cooking up next.